All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for your wonderful patience. We are ready to go ahead and get started with some more D&D right here on Lionhead Gaming. And tonight is Thursday, so that means we're going to be playing some Song of Rapture as DM'd by Monsieur Omen. Mr. Omen, what do you have for us tonight?
Seemed like the last time we left our valiant vanguard, they were putting their backs to the conclusion of a previous adventure, a heartfelt and for some heartbreaking trial against the forces of darkness that seemed to take over this small town of Garenswell, a place that held a strong prominence in the past of their ally Luna. But how they achieved that, one could call it a happy ending, is not my story to tell. Can someone tell me what happened last time on the Song of Rapture?
Previously on Song of all was quiet in the lair of Dr. Eric Gellner, the Lord of Night. Luna, after slaying the man she once regarded as a father, finally had the answers she had come here to find. Her parents. The fog of her mind lifted, and her whole life rushed back to her. A town called Cinderwood, where she was born. Her parents, the noble Lord and Lady von Edensburg, who loved her very much. The shadow creatures that threatened their town. The journey they took to see a very kind doctor when Luna was injured during a civilian revolt. And how this doctor was kind to her, and how her parents promised her they would return. But they were gone for too long. The young Luna wept for them, and Eric Gellner promised he could take that pain away if she let him. Hurt and naive, she did, and he erased her parents from her mind. The valiant vanguard were now safe to explore the rest of the lair as it slowly crumbled, and as they left the vampire's resting place, they found that the two infected patients, scared and confused, looked to them for answers. Samantha, who usually handles morally difficult situations, left them to Persephone, and Gregory looked to the young druid for a speck of hope that they could be saved. But she smiled sadly, and even though she said nothing, he knew they could not. Quill promised to make their end painless, and they were left with him. His sword cut across their necks swiftly, but he would not leave them like slain animals on the cold concrete. Instead, he wished them peace in their next life, and continued to look through the lair with his party. The citizens of Garenswell surrounded the clock tower, demanding to know what was going on. And why were the clouds suddenly breaking? Why did they suddenly remember their loved ones? And where was the doctor? Samantha declared that they were all saved thanks to the valiant vanguard, and that the doctor had deceived them all. And with him gone, the haunts should cease. They gathered at the Mangy Hound Tavern so that the town could be regaled with the tale of the valiant vanguard slaying the vampire of Garenswell. But Gregory went back to the Church of Sune with Pharaoh Starhold, and met with Ceres, who waited for him there. When asked about if he found what bound the vampire to this town, Gregory broke down. He no longer knew if he was on the path of good, and his soul was weary and felt like a broken man. All he wanted to do was help people, and his time in the doctor's lair made that difficult. Ceres removed the mark of Malar from the Oakwellian, and as the other members of the pact left the church, two of them stood out. One with a scar around his neck, another with a scar across his face. Gregory realized that they must have been the wolves he had slain before meeting the pact. The many-faced beast had his ways, it seemed. The secret that Ceres was looking for was one of the tomes that Samantha and Persephone acquired from the lair. Samantha negotiated with the pact that she would require only 2 days to read a couple pages within this tome, and then the pact could have it. And if she did not adhere to her end of the bargain, the vanguard would be marked as enemies and hunted down. Before leaving Garenswell, however, the warlock made sure to see the mayor for their reward. And though he admitted to not believing they would actually save his town, he made good on his promise. The valiant vanguard was rewarded a grant that they could use to acquire land in the Lynch's name, and along with that, Samantha negotiated for the clock tower to be turned into a museum of sorts, where travelers can learn of the tale of a vampire that had been slain. Now leaving Garenswell, Luna, though she did not learn where her parents were, was much closer to finding them now. And we rejoined the valiant vanguard with the once dreary town of Garenswell behind them and on their way back to Oakwell. So join us tonight as we write another verse in Song of Rapture.
All right, give yourself some DM inspiration. Well done, Mel. as we indeed rejoin the valiant vanguard, exiting the small town of Garenswell and leaving behind the confused but still now celebratory citizens who reside within, with a new purpose to return back to Crossway and use that city from there to return back home to Oakwell, having gathered a number of things that they were tasked to acquire on their journey, namely a number of jobs they can present to their patron, so that they can perhaps proceed with something more financially affordable for the Valiant Vanguard and their future endeavors. As our heroes, the Valiant Vanguard, have made it maybe about an hour or so outside of town, you guys can tell that from similar to your last journey here, going from Crossway out to the far reaches of Garenswell, it's going to be a bit of a travel, about 150 miles or so. You guys think you can probably get there in about 5 days or so? Anything else you want to do, particularly on the travel? It seems like some of you have some things going on, some tasks at hand. Others more, I guess, a race against the clock for some of your actions. As what are you all up to on those 5 days?
Can I turn back the clock about an hour?
Turn back the clock to the bone time? Sure.
Right before we're leaving, Gregory coming up to the rest of the group. New, different horse by his side, with a confused look on his face. Yo, this is... It's fucking embarrassed. I could have sworn... I don't really know what the hell happened last night, but I could have sworn I got a horse for the travel. When I went back to the church to get my things, my soul wasn't there. I could have sworn I had it with me, yeah? I don't... Fuck my head.
You use a sword?
Yeah, very funny.
Oh, I think I remember seeing a sword that you threw away in a reckless abandon.
Oh. You mean we
Where?
gotta go dig for it?
Oh, fucking hell.
Well, I'll go get some shovels.
I could probably turn into a giant badger and help.
I could probably reach into my bag of holding and just pull it out.
Yeah, or Luna could. Wait, what?
Fucking hell, Luna.
Your jokes are not very funny, Luna.
They're hilarious.
I thought it was hilarious.
That is pretty good.
You've got it then.
I pull out the sword. You should probably not
thank
throw
God.
these away.
I could have sworn I had it with me. I thought I remember last night.
Gregory, you grew like 5 times bigger that day.
Yeah. After falling in that fucking hole, I don't know, it's all... Thanks, Luna. Thank you. I don't know, I didn't sleep well last night. Neither. We going then?
Indeed. What's the plan?
Go back to Oakwell?
Weren't we going to go help those miners? Didn't we have something to deliver?
Well, yeah, we are going to stop by Crossway. That's part of the going back to Oakwell. There was a vial that we got from the doctor's lair, and I think it could help save the dwarves.
Good. We need to save some more people.
Oh yeah, the ones with the adamanton poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
Where were they again? And Crossway, were they?
Yeah, like
think
the
they're to the
northern
south.
part.
Weren't they south?
No, south is where the elven silver crown went missing from a museum.
Hmm.
So I thought they were in some mines. Oh, hell, my
Well,
head.
they were like miners. who were mining adamantine, and the gas released in the process was causing them to get very sick and even thinning their blood. It's been very difficult to cure.
The miner, we're gonna go cure the miners. Are we
Yes.
doing anything about that mithril crown?
I was planning on looking into that at some point, but not right now. I think it might take a bit too much time. Samantha just pulls like a snake away from this tome that she's been reading the whole time she's been around you.
Jody is expecting us.
Well, Jody did also want us to get her a contact, which we also did. So between that and helping Garen's well, and then helping the dwarves, I think she'd be very happy with what we were able to accomplish while we were gone.
Wait, did we get anything from the mayor, Samantha?
Yes, we did. I'm making arrangements with him to set up a bit of a memorial/museum here in town that should, well, help boost our reputation, along with, we've been given, not really a deed, but a provision of sorts. A way to acquire property.
A grant.
That could help the fallen horse expand.
What, like money?
No,
What?
usually a grant allows you to have some sort of land and purchasing. Most
Yes.
nobles require it to build in their cities or hamlets.
Some, a grant awarded up to 15,000 gold or so. So, I'll be using that most likely in Oakwell.
So he gave us some land and Garen's well? I don't...
No,
what?
he gave us money to purchase land.
So he
under
gave us
his
money.
name.
Technically speaking, it's a charter. I don't remember if he gave us any actual gold.
Charter? What the hell?
Nope, seemed like he just gave you a big old slab, big old charter. Basically, a grant that if you were to bestow it anywhere in Mobia, it would basically be under the name of the Lynch family, but given the sway of their nobility, you could effectively purchase any affordable square of land or building that falls within that vicinity. Under the name of
So-
the Lynch.
So wait,
Nobility.
he gave us the ability to buy land for him? What? I'm missing something.
The funds will be drawn from the Lynch family account, and signed over to whoever writes their name on the bill and grant as an overseer of the newly purchased property. The property is purchased under their family name, but, well, let's just say I more or less have Lynch right where I want him.
We essentially purchased the land, and Mayor Lynch would own it.
But you
What
could
else?
use
But
it
we would
without
be able to
paying
use
rent.
it.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Alright, I got it. Sorry. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's like you're renting a place, but you ain't paying nothing for
No,
it.
you're buying a place.
No,
What?
you got it, Gregory. You got it, Gregory. Just let's just leave it at that.
I'll let y'all explain it to Jody. I don't know what the hell.
It's their money. It's their money, your land, Gregory.
I thought we agreed to leave it at that.
Oh, I'm trying to simplify it.
You know, it really is beautiful now that the rain is gone from that place. I don't think I will ever return there, though.
I plan on returning at some point. I have to see how business is doing with, well, what used to be the doctor's estate. I, may have pointed out to, Lord Lynch, Luna, that as far as I'm aware, you're the only proper inheritor to the estate. But I believe we discussed this already.
Discussed what?
My suggested idea of what to do with the Gelner property. With you.
The clock tower.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. I don't want it.
Yeah, okay, I thought so.
The clock tower didn't collapse, did it? It's just like the underground just sort of got swallowed up.
Seemed like, as it's sort of hard to tell, but when you were down there, it seemed like the actual, looks like the masonry, looks like the actual foundation of that place was almost seeming to crumble away. But really, it almost seemed like where there was stonework and brick, like the earth was sort of just consuming it. Like what was once masonry was dissolving back into natural earth, as if the dungeon you were in was more so like a presence. And with its origin gone, that presence was fading and returning to what it once was. A lot of the collapsing just simply came down because, well, some of the dungeon foundation that was no longer there was no longer supporting this once empty space, and that empty space was being filled. So, kind of collapsed, but there's nothing crushed. Almost like temporal sort of distortion. But yeah, the clock tower still seems fine. Everything inside was as honky-dory as it was when you first entered.
We did recover some treasure from that laboratory, didn't we?
Oh yeah, a lot of it.
I mean, I found quite a few silvered weapons. I believe Luna found a dagger. I gave it to her.
None of that had been portioned out correctly.
But I mean, you don't really portion out swords and weaponry. Figured we would get a better price for them Crossway.
Yeah, of course. I'm just trying to shore up what it is we'll be able to give Jody is all.
What about all the stuff in the doctor's house? It's gonna be a little there, or
I think that's part of the museum now.
It is the intention.
see. What?
Are you confused again, Gregory?
I'm very confused. We making a museum out of the doctor's house?
To memorialize the people that were unfortunately lost in his nefarious acts, and also to remind people who it is that saved the town, the Valiant Vanguard. It's a joint operation between myself and the Lord. But yes, a lot of those more rare and worldly items are going to be left with the estate.
Does that mean they're going to keep telling stories about how we killed a vampire in their town?
That is the idea, yes.
That's so exciting!
I'm assuming we ain't gonna be telling Jody about that part, huh?
Why not?
I know Jody a bit. If we tell her we left a whole bunch of rare and valuable things to sit in the house,
that part. Yeah.
she ain't gonna be happy that we didn't throw them on a cart and bring it with us.
Well, we didn't bring a cart.
They weren't ours to take.
Most of them are quite bulky and cumbersome, and I don't know the true value of them all either. Plus,
I mean, they were quite valuable, I'm sure. Many of them I've only seen in museums. But they weren't ours to take. They're not the Valiant Vanguards.
If anything, they were mine, and
Exactly.
I would just rather have them stay over there.
Don't tell Jody that.
I mean, I'll tell Jody that.
Can I watch?
I mean, to be completely frank, we're not really in the position where we're necessarily underneath her heel any longer. Especially considering this grant was awarded to myself, not to Jody.
Wait, she's still our boss. What are you talking about?
To the Valiant Vanguard, Samantha.
You guys want to have this conversation on the road?
I'm on the road. I've been on the road for hours.
Yeah, I presume unless there's,
Bold of you to assume that we just
Well, we
stand still in
started
the
with
middle of the
back
road.
in town, so I wasn't sure if we were moving or standing outside the gate.
I figured once we figured out where Gregory's sword was, we started moving again.
Well,
Yeah. That was the how about we get going now?
Look, I have nothing but respect and a degree of care for Jody, but subservience does not suit me for very long.
You're
So
ready to
you
spread your own wings.
are you quitting?
Restructuring, I think, is a better word.
I would have said new management.
management under who?
I mean, it sounds like you're quitting.
We shall see.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that at all.
So hold on a second. We got all of the doctor stuff that is now legally, I guess, loan. Are we leaving here?
Mhm.
We got
Back in Garen's well.
a right to rent a place of our choosing that's up for sale,
Hmm.
but only Samantha's got that. That's her. I mean, for the rest of us, we gonna get a mighty chewing out from Joe.
I mean, we have these silvered weapons that we can sell for some money.
And
Yeah.
we did get a lot of gold from the lair.
Me and Samantha already counted it out and basically did the math of it. We just haven't, given it to people yet. But we already included Jody in.
So we do have some money. All right.
Yeah.
As long as we got something,
We also have
Yeah.
some gems, but I think
It's the
we
last
should
thing
hold
I
on to
fucking need.
those.
Hey, as long as we can make Jody happy, we've already.
You worry too much, Gregory. I think she'll be fine with what we've got.
Plus,
I
we
think she'll
left
be
with
more
the
than happy with what
expectation that
we've
we
got.
weren't coming back with really anything.
Yeah. So she wanted
What?
us to get jobs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she specifically said that we needed to get some on this trip.
Yeah, we needed to find things like along the way, but she knew we were heading off to Garen's Well, with that potentially being, just personal. So the fact that that quest turned out to have reward should be a nice boon to the conversation.
Yeah, she
Okay,
just
I
wanted us
gotcha.
to find work in Crossway.
That makes more sense. All right.
I assume the
My
loot
head is.
up to date. It's like sort of like a player question.
Yeah, it's up to date. I checked it. It looks like a little bit of a mess, but all the bulk stuff is at the top, and then the chart breaks down like smaller personal items, and then all of our treasure stuff has already been distributed in our own character folder stuff.
Yes, I mean, look at the loot section. We have tons of gold we're coming back with.
So we don't need to find work in Crossway then, right? Is that what we saying?
I still want to
We
help
can
the
go
dwarves,
home?
Gregory. I still want to help the dwarves.
Yeah, I get that.
And
But
then after
no,
that, we could just go back to Oakwell.
Yeah.
No
Turn some of
fighting
the,
yet or nothing.
I mean, do you want to fight in the pit?
I'd certainly rather not.
Are you talking about the gilded coffers and the whole little dinner fist situation? Yeah, I don't think that's really necessary right now. I think we just
All we really
take
need to
care of the
do-
dwarves and sell the stuff that, like those reliquaries and the like, that we can just turn into gold.
Alright, so
And
Crossway, drop off medicine, and then back home again.
Sounds like a plan.
there's a little extra gold because isn't the guy in the pit? Isn't there 500 gold if we can give information about him? So we just go back to Oakwell and we tell whoever was looking for him where he's at.
Yeah, the whole Argos Day situation.
us.
Who do we have to tell? Was it one of the other inn owners that had that bounty put out on him?
I believe it was the owner of the Silver Skink.
Hmm. And so concludes the first day of role-playing. Day 2.
Okay. Just waiting for if everyone's done with what they
That's
want
the
to talk about.
session. All right, so now I have to go for next week.
Good night, everybody. Let me see. As I said before, our heroes finally having, I guess, focused themselves now on their task. It seemed like they had spent the last day or so, regathering their things, taking care of last-minute errands in Garenswell, and some of them sorting through items and treasures they gathered without really the others knowing until the very end. Now all of them are under the same head and understanding what's going on and where they're going. They continue through their first day with a clear goal in mind. But those days of travel aren't necessarily eventless, because some of you might be doing some activities. Is there anything you guys are doing while traveling on the road for the remaining 4 days?
Gregor's head is still just sort of a mess of not... He's focusing more on just getting home at this point, but whenever he's got a moment, he is going through his Arturius to just get his mind off of everything. And he's secluding himself quite a bit throughout this time. Whenever he's not riding a horse, he's pulling out a book and reading it, taking it in. Sometimes just staring at a page, just lost in his own mind.
While on the road, Persephone's picking wildflowers that she finds. She's making herself a brand new flower crown because she went through
Some shit. So that means a change, which means new crown.
Nice.
It's necessary! Fuck off!
It is necessary.
Persephone, as you've been spending that first day sort of going through, making yourself a crown, you pulled yourself out of a place that was basically covered in shadow, no life, no really anything that you've come to enjoy being within, outside of your home of the crystal city of Inulin. So giving yourself basically stepping back into nature, it's almost like taking a fresh breath of air. And during that time, maybe it's just how long it's been since you've experienced this sensation, being this connection to life. It almost seems vibrant. Like when you make this little flower crown and place it in your hair, even though you know the flowers have been plucked and maybe just a bit of your own druidcraft magic giving them a bit more longer life, let them keep their luster longer. It feels like it's still alive on your head, and it just feels like there's just life everywhere for you, and it's wonderful. But it's not just the sensation that you've experienced from leaving Garenswell that you've taken with you. It seems like you're both sometimes intended, sometimes unintentional connection to this strange energy of life has sort of blossomed in you from this experience. As Persephone, you unlock the Dreamwalker magic boon.
Holy shit!
It seems like now that you've sort of tapped into this primordial fey nature that you have been nurturing for quite some time now, your magic has sort of aimed itself in that direction. It seems like you almost unlocking new forms of magic, new ways you can cast spells, others just sort of connecting yourself to ones that maybe just had more of a natural life-giving nature to them. As it seems like your spell list has slightly expanded. The spells are, some of them are part of your druid list, some of them are completely new, and it seems like they expand beyond your normal list.
All the spells.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Ah!
Ooh, look at you getting auras.
I'm so excited. I'm having trouble reading the damn thing.
Oh, and you always
My
have
eyes are just
prepared. Fuck.
turning over.
Mm-hmm.
That's spicy.
8 new prepared
Okay,
spells.
hang on. Let me read this out loud because I don't know if it can be seen.
Sure.
Your mystical connection to the Feywild infuses you with the ability to cast certain spells. At 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th level, you gain access to Dreamwalker spells. Once you gain access to a Dreamwalker spell, you always have it prepared, and it doesn't count against the number of spells you can prepare each day. If you gain access to a spell that doesn't appear on the Druid spell list, the spell is nonetheless a Druid spell for you. 3rd level, Invisibility, Pass Without Trace. 5th level, Conjure Animals, Mass Healing Word. 7th level, Aura of Life, Charm Monster. 9th level, Scrying, Dream. Hey!
Press pound to repeat
Mel, you
this
sound
menu.
like Exactly. It's so annoying.
Press pound to repeat this message.
Throws phone in the garbage.
Hashtag.
Press 0 to talk to a representative. Press 0, representative.
That's how you speak to the DM. You're the press 0 to
Very
speak to the
en
DM.
français.
Oh my god.
All right.
Human.
What are the rest of you doing on your travels? I'm sure you have more to do, Persephone.
Through this profane arts.
At some point, I'm gonna corner Persephone.
Okay.
Bad touch. Hashtag me too.
Well, at some point, Persephone has to apologize to Luna too.
Okay.
So what are we
A lot
doing?
of stuff going on the road then. Okay.
I mean, yeah, because Persephone's got to apologize to Luna. She's got to talk to Samantha about something. And I got to send another bird to Jody when we're halfway to Crossway.
Sure.
I think I'd probably also snag Luna
Okay.
at some point.
Alrighty then. What about the rest of you? What do you have planned to do on this road?
I just realized that I still have these books that I never finished reading. So during the day, I will read the Oakwell history book.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the night, probably during my watches, I'll probably try to take watches during like the darkest times of night and try and practice moving between the worlds with my boom that I haven't used yet.
Okay.
I think it takes like an hour to do that.
Mm-hmm. Takes an hour of sitting, concentration, meditation to shift from one side to the other.
Nice. I'll just spend the first 72 hours just trying to burn through the Tome of Profane Arts before the dogs show up for it. And then I didn't have anything else planned on the way to Crossway, so I'll just react to anything that I need to react to.
Okay. Javen, Goldor, you have someone to corner, but anything else you want to do, or are you just traveling, keeping an eye on everything?
Just traveling, keep my eye on everything else.
Good stuff. What about you, Javen?
It's not as nice after being so sad and gloomy, so he's just gonna enjoy the nature.
Okay.
Back in Javen's natural habitat, the open road. With the stars above. No clouds or vampires.
No clouds, no vampires. Only roads.
Only roads and nature
stuff.
and the sun.
Okay. So yeah, let's see. Trying to
I would have a short conversation with Luna, but like it's really minor.
Sure. I'm trying to think. So Samantha's been reading her book for a while. Seems like it might be a couple more days before finally she comes to fruition. But it seems like you are pretty focused on doing that, speeding through it as best you can, because yeah, the wolves are coming.
Yeah, so I can't talk to her during the first few days because she's busy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then I guess out of all of you guys, probably Luna would be the first to enter her own thing. So you're gonna try and shift to the other side, just practicing it. Anything you're looking for, or you just want to see what it feels like?
Just try and practice the, I guess, explore the world on the other side a little bit more.
Okay. So on probably the first night, once you're away from Garen's Well, having time to reflect on everything you've been through, and maybe just reflect on the strength you've gained from that horrible ordeal. You maybe take some time to actually sit down and maybe better connect with this strange, shadowy nature that the man who raised you seemed so focused on, so almost obsessed with. And yeah, one of those nights, what does it look like when you shift over to the other side? Like, how do you do to prepare? You just sit and wait? What's it like when Luna does it?
I guess I would try to move as far away from the campfire as possible, try and get underneath a bunch of trees and bushes, and just as I start moving over, like, the color of my skin and the outfit that I'm wearing just starts to turn more monochrome as I guess my soul moves over to the next side.
Okay. So you start to focus yourself, you distance yourself from light, sort of allowing yourself to enter a place where normally others can only see shades of gray, but you can see yourself plain and clear. You can see the color of the grass even in this dark night, and the color of your clothing. It seems you see the darkness of your hair, which has returned to its seems like it's both its length and its original pitch color. And then soon, as you start to let yourself slip away, just keeping your mind concentrated on that feeling you experienced before when you found yourself slipping from one side to the other, your clothes begin to just drain away of their color bit by bit, the saturation seeping out uniformly, almost like liquid, until everything around you seems to lose all color. And then you find yourself sort of like almost like a weird out of body experience where that lack of color begins to darken and darken until your features, your hands, your hair, everything return to that completely pitch color. And once you feel that strange lightness that you have only experienced a few times recently, many times when you were young, you can like stand up from where you're sitting. And although you can't, see where you once were, it seems like the world around you has since shifted when you've released that concentration. The ground around you, this lush field of grassy hills, some stones, shrubs, just like a nice open plain you can normally see, is now calm and desolate. The grass is still there, but it's dry and it's sort of rough on your hands and feet as if dead. You can see the vast landscape before you is something you remember before, is this strange and sort of desolate appearance. You see, it looks like what should be like fields of fog or clouds are sort of lower to the ground, where the hills are nice and soft and round. They're sharp, rise up in these strange, sharp, jagged formations. And again, now that you're out of Garen's Well and the dark clouds have cleared, you can see it plain as day in this open area. The sky above you is not filled with darkness or light or even moonlight. There's no sky here in the Shadowfell. It looks like what should be clouds are pointing down towards you and these sharp spires, as if the world above you was also the world you stand on, as if the clouds themselves were mountains, almost like you were in a massive global cave. And yeah, you just sort of spend some time looking around, sort of trying to explore the environment, but even so, there's that sense of foreboding within you, within this strange facsimile of you, that it seems like wherever you go, even though this place seems empty, you feel threatened. Although maybe it's just this place itself, the atmosphere you're in, all of this strange, cold, dark, necrotic energy swimming through the air. Maybe that's just the foreboding itself, but this place never feels safe. Is there anything you're wanting to look for, particularly do? As you know that if you're counting the time, trying to be careful with this, you know that this power is going to become completely unstable and possibly dangerous to you if you linger so long that the light returns while you're in this in-between state.
I just usually do like very short stays. If I can find like any spirits nearby, I know we're like technically in the forest on the other side, so I'm not sure if there's going to be spirits here, but I'm just looking around.
It seems like you found your experience with running into these sort of like entities in whether forests or enclosed areas is usually in cities and like that, like a forest, or places where life usually is dense and abounds. But out here in the open scape, in the open plains, where in the prime, you can see like maybe antelope crossing the fields, or maybe like a pack of wolves in the distance, or maybe even in some places like tribes of some wandering people. Here, there's nothing. It seems like the emptiness of the open plains in the prime has been greatly exaggerated to the point where the emptiness is almost dead. It's just devoid. There's no wind. There's no there's no air. It almost feels like there's no air. It's so thin. There's no sky. It's just you, this lone walking shadow amidst this wasteland.
So yeah, as I keep noticing that and just continue practicing, I'll probably, like I said, only do short stays before I just return back to my body
Okay,
until I reach a city or something.
nice. Continuing on these nights, just like basically switch back and forth from the prime and the Shadowfell. I mean, maybe what's your mindset about it? Like, how would you feel if, after everything you've gone through, switching from between a realm of warmth and light, and sometimes, evil, darkness, bloodshed, and then to this other place which lacks life but is just empty of everything? Like, what would Luna's mindset be going from one to the other constantly? Is she growing more comfortable with it? Like, what's it like for her?
I don't feel afraid of this place anymore. It's actually quite comforting. Strangely, like it's a second home, as empty as it is. But I guess it's a way to connect more to Eric, even though he turned out to be a horrifying vampire. He was still my stepfather, and this is where he's from. So I want to keep coming here to learn more about where he started and where my powers are going to end up going.
Nice. And it seems like after a few days of you practicing this power and now finding this strange new comfort, not really running from it anymore, but this time having faced the place you run away from before, that sense of comfort manifests in you, Luna, as sort of a new way to hold on and control your magic. The power that you course within you, you pull from the darkness, or maybe from within the darkness inside yourself. Seems like it's no longer this strange chill that you have to pull out of the recesses of your own magical core to utilize. Instead, it's almost more free form, although still somewhat taxing. Seems like you can actually take that raw shadow inside of you, and with just a certain amount of force, you can just release it at your will to in ways that possibly you couldn't do normally. As Luna, you unlock a boon. You unlock the
Ayo.
shadow casting boon. Whenever you cast one of your shadow origin spells, you can instead spend 1 plus the spell's level in sorcery points to cast it at the lowest level without requiring components or a spell slot. But when you cast a spell in this way, if the spell has an attack roll, you make such with advantage, and if you have to make a concentration check on such a spell, you do so with advantage. Seems like you're growing more comfortable with your shadowy magic.
Fucking neat.
It's a boon day.
Okay. Turn back to our travel. Let's see. A few days ago. When do you guys want to have your conversations with Luna? Be like the second or third day or so?
Like, probably the end of the first day, just because Persephone wants to go up to her, just looking a little guilty.
I'm sorry for invading your dreams. And I'm not sorry like the way that I said it the first time where I panicked because I didn't know what was going on, and not like the second time because I kind of did it on purpose, but also intended not be in your dreams. But I'm really sorry that I just showed up in your dreams.
Uh-huh.
So, friends?
It's fine. I can't be angry. It was already a couple days ago. I'm not angry about it anymore.
Okay. I'll try not to do it again, though. Your dreams are kind of weird.
Oh, they get worse.
Oh no.
That's
But
all.
but
Oh, if you're
nobility,
gonna,
huh? Nobility. What's that about? No, you don't get to avoid this.
Okay.
You entered my dreams.
Well, I guess this is something I should probably tell everybody. Then. So you all know me as Persephone, and I thought that was going to be enough, but before I came to Mobia, I was Lady Valora of Inalin. My father is the High Lord of my home city, and well, he wasn't originally supposed to be the Lord. It was his sister, my aunt, Falante. And well, we don't really talk about her anymore. She's kind of a cautionary tale of what not to be. And when my father took over Inalin, he was expected to not have half-elven children. After the rebellion, half-elves are kind of under a bad light. They're expected to be heartache and trouble, but my father wasn't going to change the life he had already started for himself with my mother. So he was raising my brother and me to be as perfectly elven as we could, and that wasn't working. One night, he was talking to my brother about doing something about my own rebellion after I had found my teacher and I was learning druidry. And my brother, by that point, had been, I guess, tired of fighting. So he wasn't going to stop him. And so I left instead.
Well, now the dress makes
Wow,
a lot
that's
more
boring.
sense.
Are you talking to all of us?
Yeah, if everyone's awake.
I was hoping for a
it's like the-
far
Says
juicier,
to the
more
sleeping
story.
party, and I told everyone.
That's a
you're
long-
welcome, Luna.
Well, there's a lot that goes with that. It's a really long story, but that's kind
I
of the
assume.
gist of it.
I assume we're talking in the day, not
Yeah,
while
sure.
everyone's asleep.
Yeah, sure.
And I didn't want to say anything exactly because of that, Gregory, because of that face right there, because you think nobility is better than everybody. But I want you to know, I don't think I'm more important than you just because I was born nobility. It wasn't like I had any choice. And don't start treating me very weirdly. I've had friends do that before, and I don't like that.
If it makes you feel any better, Gregory, I think you're all beneath me.
It's really weird of you to say, Luna.
Well, I mean, your nobility as well, Luna.
I haven't told anyone that yet.
Didn't he say that out loud?
No, you said that to Persephone.
Oh,
Did I? I don't think I told anybody that.
No.
okay.
That was like your weird, like, dream sequence.
Then he.
I was going to tell everyone right now, but
I mean, you going back then? Like, so you ran away from home?
Yeah. Changed my name, ran away from home. I guess I denounced my titles. I don't really know what's going on. I've been gone for almost a year.
Are you planning on going back though?
I don't know. I mean, my brother might be getting married, but
Huh.
if I go back, I don't know if I'd be leaving again. I don't know if I could. Father always had this way of when he looked at you, it was as if winter overcame summer and everything would freeze, and I can't just go back just to tell him I'm not going back. It's crazy. And he'd be embarrassed. I don't even know if everyone knows that I'm gone. They could be keeping it hidden. They could be concealing it. He could have made up some story, because there's nothing more embarrassing than the younger sibling of Volante losing his youngest daughter. It would only be obvious that his kids would cause so much trouble, and we're supposed to be the future of Innerland, and I laughed.
Persephone. You are not an embarrassment. You are
Sometimes.
a hero. You protect people. You saved a city of Garen's well. I've heard stories of what you did in Stroma. If anyone would be embarrassed to have you as a daughter, well then, I don't really think they would deserve to have you as a daughter.
Well, Father is never pleased. So.
You really make him sound like that. Well, like Quill said, for what it's worth, I think you make a better adventurer than a noble.
I do think so.
You all
you don't have
suited
to go
for
back
it.
anytime soon.
Yeah, you seem to have a knack with all the plants and the animals.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. I thought when I was younger, I thought maybe I was going to also help guard the Illyrian forests, but I kind of like what I'm doing now.
So you'll...
That's it. Then you You just never plan on go back? Just this is how you just want to live?
I mean, it's her choice, Gregory.
Don't get
And
me
if
wrong.
she does go back, she won't go alone.
Well,
Unless she
yeah,
wants to.
No, I really don't want to. I don't think I'm ready to go back home yet. There's a lot of problems that go with home. Problems that I don't think I'm ready to face off against. Honestly, if anyone were to ask, I'd much rather stand in front of Chief Kogar's hammer again. That's how I feel. And that was also terrifying.
Cool, you could help me get my nobility back then.
Yo,
Wait,
no.
you're also a noble.
Joke. No one's joking again.
Are we going to start a club?
Well, for what it's worth, Luna, I also think you make a better adventurer than a noble. With all the
So
shadow
who
stuff
else?
and the magic.
Who else is it?
So I'm a
noble.
deposed heiress, you're a runaway princess, and then what are you,
Lady.
Luna?
We're not.
Luna's joking, right?
Persephone looks at Luna.
Yeah. Right?
No.
Oh, you can't be serious.
So you
Hell.
remember?
I remember my parents. I remember kind of where we're from. I don't know where relative to anywhere other than the name. None of you know about Cedarwood, do you?
Cedarwood.
I don't know, do we?
I'm gonna say Quill give me a history check.
Ooh.
Let's see.
All right, not bad. You've heard the name. It sounds like a Mobian, possibly town, but not much more than that. Something about a forest town. You've heard speak of it, maybe in a short time while you were in Lindale, but besides that, it's just sort of a passing name that people bring up when mentioning towns, but not very often. That's probably what stands out to you to most, Quill, is that it's not often a spoken of name.
I mean, I've heard of it. It's Mobian. Some forest village or town. I heard of it last in Lindale, but people don't really speak of it.
We kind of have a town similar like that in Illyria. Not a lot of people really speak to it. Nobody really knows where it is.
That's going to be irritating to find then. Well, basically, my parents are the quote-unquote lord and lady of that town.
Right.
And because of where I was born, well, I was in, you know how babies work, but they went through the Shadowfell, and that's how I am the way I am, and I brought all of that to the town and caused problems, got injured, so they tried to bring me to Eric, and they had to leave for a bit. I guess they were in some kind of trouble, and that's when Eric removed my memories.
Oh my god.
So he basically kidnapped you. You weren't left with him.
You don't.
But you remember how, right? Like the other townsfolk?
If I understand it, she was a baby.
No, I wasn't a baby. I was still pretty young. I was a few years. You saw me in the memory thing. It was a little bit
Yeah.
during that time, actually.
Gotcha.
I mean, Luna, you may have not actually been abandoned then.
No, you had a note in your hand. Your parents told you they were going to come back.
So the fact that they didn't means that whatever they needed to go deal with, they are either still dealing with it or
I mean,
So moving on.
he could have taken their memories as well, Luna.
I was planning on making another trip, possibly to Cradle Keep. Yeah. I don't know if you wanted to maybe join me again. Maybe be able
That's
to
where that
find
big
some
library
information.
is, right?
Yes, going back for the library.
Yeah, I'll follow you. I could probably also go to that one town, not this, Moston. That
Moston.
guy likes his information. He probably knows something.
It's definitely worth trying, I think. I just wanted to try to see if I could move things along. Their whole membership or whatever is taking far too long for my liking, and they have more information than I want to get my hands on.
I want to go back to the library more for information about the Shadowfell than anything.
Understandable. And correct me if I'm wrong, you said you're, if I understand this correctly, you're Volanthe's niece?
Yeah. Do you know my aunt?
She's the one who sort of... There
Sort
was
of.
that whole Civil War thing where you're from, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's her. That's her.
Cut some headset off.
Are you laughing at her, Samantha?
It's
Why is
nothing.
Samantha laughing?
David, while the nobles cackle, please don't tell me you're an actual fucking dragon or something, please.
What if
No, I'm a
David...
descendant. Wait. Is there a dragon god?
Roll me a religion check.
Oh fuck.
Make something
No,
up.
I was gonna try to be cheeky, but
Nah. Ain't no dragon gods. There's people gods.
No, it's just people gods. No, I'm a descendant of Malar. I was actually a human once. Then I turned into a dragonborn in my second life.
I think I read a fairy tale just like that once.
No,
I honestly don't know what the hell to think
Okay.
right now. Are you joking, please?
Yes, I am.
Oh, God.
My heavy hand on Gregory's shoulder.
I guess you're the only, normal one here then, Gregory.
Yeah, that's racist.
Yeah, no more.
So we have a drunken vagrant who punches things, a disgraced
Should've seen me in my
former
earliest.
knight, a lady of the
Still
house
alive.
times 2. Oh, are you? You still hold your title?
Just because I've been banished from my land doesn't mean I've lost my titles.
Oh gods, maybe I'm still
thought-
a lady.
I thought that was
Isn't
normally
those
part
two-
of the procedure. You're banished and stripped of your titles.
Maybe your tongue is weird.
Possibly. I'm just inquiring.
Maybe in Illyria, but not in Tyrion.
Definitely in Illyria.
Okay, so a knight, 2 ladies, one of which ran away from home, the other one doesn't know where home is. Myself dealing with all of that. And then Gregory, who's,
What?
well, just Gregory.
Why did
Again,
the
Gregory,
eye
if-
creature call you a deity, Samantha? Are you some kind of worshipper of some god, or... That eyeball creature in the library.
He was weird. I didn't like him.
But he was accurate. You are a noble, Persephone.
No. Persephone doesn't hold such titles. That's my point.
Yeah, you have like a whole other name or something you're going with here.
So then what did he mean by you and the deity?
Well, Samantha
You
was
don't
talking
seem
about
religious.
Malar a lot when she was talking to
I mean, she
Sarah,
is a
yeah.
Yanti.
Samantha seems to know a lot about the gods in general.
Well,
Just
that
be
makes
referring
sense. I
to-
mean, she can turn into a snake. A whole giant ass snake, no offense. I mean that in the most endearing way possible. Like a
Wasn't
whole giant ass snake.
wasn't
Well,
the
that makes
enemy of
sense.
your kingdoms somehow related to the Raven Queen as well?
Yes.
Oh, do you follow her or something?
No, never. I have a connection to Medusa, the Serpent Empress. It is a long story, but I have been so wonderfully blessed with gifts from her. And it must have been what that strange creature was seeing before it decided to run away.
Alright, that creature ran away.
What's a Medusa?
It is a god of the White Sea, Javen.
Oh, it's a Yanti god. Oh,
Mhm.
alright, that makes sense. Dang, I thought it was on point with Malone.
But
She
again,
has a
Gregory, if it
connection
makes
to
you
Malone.
feel any better,
Oh,
before
like,
I found out I was an
Ascender.
ability, you're all trash.
Even me?
So
Maybe her
that-
silence is a yes.
I know.
Dagger silence.
I'm heartbroken. I thought we had something special.
would I be correct in assuming we won't tell Jody about all these things?
I'm not sure if I want to tell her for her safety.
I'm gonna fuck the fuck out of this.
I would expect nothing less from you, Luna. If only you knew what your sigil looked like, you could make wonderful clothing and perhaps a signet ring.
I'll take out my brooch and just kind of hold it
Want
up.
That would work.
Hold on, what does it look like again? What does the brooch look like again?
She pulls out her brooch, and you can see emblazoned in gold is this very prominent-looking lion figure. This roaring head with sharp teeth and a long flowing mane, all carved from metal.
This is very pretty.
Wonderful sigil. A sigil of strength. Courage. You must definitely make a sigil ring out of that.
So when we get back, I'm supposing y'all seem to have some important things we need to take care of. Huh? Oh, you go try to find that town. First, you said for Jody's protection, are people looking for you?
Maybe? I don't know. There's not really a lot of news that I hear about Illyria. Crossway was the first time I had heard anything, and all I got was that a suitor may have been found for my brother. I don't even know how long that information's been floating around or if it's accurate. What I meant by protection, I don't think she'll be in danger, but I don't want to put Jody in a position where she'd be lying. So, as far as she knows, I'm just Persephone.
The wolves are sure howling tonight.
And Samantha, I guess it sounds like you outgrowing the whole fallen oils, huh?
Maybe just the building. Like I said, I need to renegotiate things with Jody, not just completely cut ties. I'm not so greedy as to forget where I came from.
Quill, you said you still have your titles and things, right? That means you haven't damn given up on it, right?
I'll go
Still-
home someday, Gregory. But I still have many, many, many years. I can outlive you fourfold.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about me going anywhere.
About you, Javen, I know you were just sort of a falling a favor for Jody, but
Oh,
mean,
shoot.
is that
What got
over?
me there? I was gonna save this for
Pay your
Crossway,
debt?
but... Yeah, in the words of you, Gregory, yeah, I think y'all outgrowing me. Like that, Eric Gelner. Huh. Yeah, I don't think I haven't been more afraid of that singular moment when I tried to knock him into the pit and he just stood up, standing on the wall and just walked. If it wasn't for you, Samantha, ooh, I might have become one of those ladies. So, I mean, to wrap it up, I'll make the semantic short. I'm tapping out. Sorry, y'all. I'll stay in Crossway. Certainly check me out. But,
There's nothing to be sorry about, Javen.
nah, you guys are too big. Y'all are destined for something else. I ain't part of it. Or at least I'm making myself not part of it. Too old for this! Ugh. You guys
Right.
gave me lifetimes of adventure and experiences and moments. If anything, it makes up for the last 60 years. Ugh. I'm an
You've
old
saved
man.
so much money on your barrels.
Oh yeah. Don't have to break them anymore.
what
Not
the
to carry
hell
around
was
my
that?
So you're staying in Crossway then?
Yeah, I'll be around Crossway, Mossway. I'll probably move on from Crossway eventually. Send a bird my way, Persephone. You ever wanna talk or something?
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Old Javen's getting too old for whatever the hell that happened in Garen'swell. Honestly, I was okay with Stroma, cause I don't know, felt right.
Yeah. Nothing's been quite as easy or straightforward since Stroma.
Yeah, then, so y'all are destined for great things. I don't think I'm part of that.
I don't know if things have ever really been easy or straightforward. But it has been good to have you. I must admit, this moment is making me very happy that I renamed our group.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to stick with 7 anymore. Just
Sure.
in case.
I'm sure y'all will find someone. I mean, when your friend fell, I happened to be in town. And I joined y'all. Maybe something like that will happen, I don't know. Something with Andre Raven Queen Fate. Look.
I mean, it won't be
I mean,
the
we could just
same,
move on
Javen.
as 5, honestly. You know, we don't need more people. I mean, that's why we changed our name to the Vanguard.
Well, I did also change it to the Vanguard so we could get more people, along with starting our own base of operations, so to speak. I was hoping to actually recruit some other people, maybe in Crossway or Broken Ridge. I think our reputation is starting to build into something reputable. People may want to join the Vanguard and go on adventures of their own and pay a proper tithe from the things they find.
Yeah.
What about you, Gregory?
Yeah, I don't know. I just need some time to think, y'all. I don't. You know I ain't quick on these damn things.
Take all the time you need.
Craig's just gonna sort of turn away from the conversation.
Okay. Very eventful
Depression.
second day of talking.
Right?
As-
Day 2.
Seems like a lot of truths have been hammered out within the Valiant Vanguard. Some of origin, and some from the past, and some of seems like the future, where the Vanguard will go and who will all be in it. It seems like new plans will have to be made. But the party continues their travel with Samantha. I guess maybe it sounds like you're pretty involved in this talk, so it's gonna maybe take another day or so. Because I mean, if you're I guess it's only for an hour. It's fine. Probably an extra hour on of that. Yeah.
Appreciate
Just trying to think. I'm trying to consider how this works. Like, God.
I mean, Persephone may have mentioned some things I just legally could not avoid chiming in on. It's not.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I'm gonna read the whole day. Oh God, there's so much important shit going on. But eventually, by the third night, set back a little bit, but made up through your ability to just avoid sleeping. You can simply sit and read and eat and sleep and read to eventually get to the point where you can finally reach the end of this book. And you do so probably in the dead of night, when the rest of the party has finally found some slumber, maybe giving yourself your own time to sort of finish off this book. There's no real dangers around you, no real reason for multiple watches, just sort of Samantha keeping her own time, keeping her own eyes on the area. And by the time you get to Luna seemingly just vanishing from sight, it seems like eventually, probably close to the stroke of midnight, your eyes continue reading this book. And it's kind of strange to take a break from this book when you do, because every time you delve into its pages and read, it seems like a multitude of different languages, some of them almost impossible to comprehend. It seems like there's always something encroaching you in the back of your mind. Like, at first it starts off maybe a sense of curiosity, this sort of tickle of an idea that maybe there's something else you can find if you delve deeper. It's almost not maddening, but there are strings of sentences and diagrams and pictures that all sort of point in different directions, as if you have to sort of go through them in different orders. It's almost maddening, but in itself, it's effectively like a puzzle. Whatever is stored in this book is done in a way so that layman eyes cannot read them. And as you continue to read for the next day, getting hours and hours of insight from this book, your mind, that tickle, becomes something heavier, something a bit more dire, almost like a threat, like a sense of foreboding, as if, well, you know that what you might find in here might be dangerous, but you continue to read, pressed on further and further through each page, until finally you almost reach a breaking point on that third day. That feeling like you're walking down a dark hallway and you don't know what's coming next, and for whatever reason, you can hear the sounds of teeth and claws and malice before and behind you. And you know that if you turn around now, you might be able to escape it. But with every page turn, every line you try to comprehend and piece together to figure out some sort of secret, the further you step into the darkness. As I'm going to need an Arcana check.
Whoop, here we go.
Here we go. Let's see if she goes crazy. Hope you nat 20 it.
Dun, dun, dun. Shit on the recap. Dun, dun, dun.
That's what cowards do. Cowards only do the recap when they absolutely need it.
Okay. As Samantha, I need you to roll me a d6. Okay. Ooh, interesting. Okay. As Samantha, you find yourself diving deeper into this book, again, stepping into that darkness, trying to find that last piece. And suddenly something, for a moment, becomes clear. though it's not quite what you're hoping for. You're looking for something that has been locked away within this book, something that has been spilled within its pages, those speaking of the magic that apparently can create life from nothing, something that almost rivals the creation that is bestowed upon the gods themselves, something that, you know, anyone in this world would want this. And finally, when you make that realization, it's not quite what you expect. It's a strange, almost piercing feeling when you realize that when you were reading this thing, the pages, the lines you were trying to comprehend, at the end they were almost just madness. Samantha, you weren't reading anything. These pages were reading you. And when you pull yourself away from the book, that realization, almost like you were staring through a window for quite some time, 72 hours, thinking you were looking for something, that realization that something else was looking back at you and watching you and observing you and reading you, and the book, you shut it immediately. That strange feeling of invasion of your privacy for such time. And you feel this sensation, almost like what one might call foolhardiness. For someone like you, Samantha, probably it's more just an immense sense of dissatisfaction. The feeling that you didn't get anything from this almost wasted time. And it's almost a feeling of perhaps you should try again. Maybe you only had more time. As whatever sense you might have strong to keep yourself from trying something foolhardy has been weakened. As Samantha Deus, your wisdom score has been lowered by 2 points.
Holy shit!
And the book closes. And after some time, reflecting on what you've read, trying to figure out what to do next, you do hear the crackling of the environment around you in the middle of this night. And it seems like when all should be still, maybe the sounds of, prairie animals rounding the camp, giving a wide berth, what should be a wide berth, to the campfire around you. Instead, you see life spawning from some of the surrounding stones where you've made your camp alongside the road, from some of the bushes and shrubbery, and you can see from within the glowing eyes of creatures within this foliage, refractive as they are animals. And along the road, ever so quietly, you can hear the sound of scratching claws, as if some beast were walking along its cobbled path. And when it rounds this large stone you've made your camp next to, when you finally turn to face it, you see no claws upon its feet. You see a pair of worn leather boots, worn by a man in tattered robes, although in the moonlight shining above, they seem more pristine, I suppose, shined upon by the great eye of Malar. As silver-haired and yellow-eyed, the man you know as Saris rounds the corner, looking at you expectantly, and then as he does, all around you, within this campsite, looks like the faces of maybe 1, 2, 3. Kind of hard to tell now with your mind somewhat almost drained by this book. It seems like the camp in its quiet nature has been surrounded with the only true discernible face, the one whose position is known as being the man before you. As Saris looks you over, seeing your expression.
This is dead at night, so most of her
Dead at night. Basically, most of you, all of you said, the only person who would be awake with Samantha is currently in another dimension. As this beast steps before you, his form human, but his eyes piercing and animalistic. I hope you got what you wanted.
No. Seems I've bet poorly. Samantha just seems to just be picking at her teeth almost, not habitually, but like she can't stop herself. I assume you've come to collect it.
A pact was made, and a pact must be kept. The book, if you will. As his hand extends from his robe, and you can see for a moment along his wrist, almost like a frill, looks like a surge of white fur that flattens out into skin, and what should be long nails pull back into normal nails as he holds his hand out expectantly. And you can hear sort of a shift in the grass around you. Quill, in your meditative state, your ear sort of twinges, and you realize there's something going on, but all is quite eerily quiet. But seems like the life around you has somewhat stirred. All the eyes fallen upon the many-eyed Samantha as he holds his hand to you. So you must keep the pact.
No chance in letting me double down, as it were.
Pact has been made, and a pact must be kept.
You better not call me for something that's guaranteed to be the end of me. So just take the book and look at him, look at his extended hand, and just sort of throw it at him.
You can see that book. It's kind of a heavy book, Samantha.
My wisdom got lowered, not my strength.
So
Pop in the face.
It sort of spins in the air. It's not quite like a good frisbee.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's like right next to me, so I'm just trying to chuck it.
Oh! Oh, fuck! Why would you do that? Oh!
I'm just trying to chuck it like into his like chest, like at his like, his biceps.
Try to knock him out.
Aiming for center mass here.
As the book comes flying towards him, a bit clumsily, but his hand moves quick. One of them sort of reaching out closer towards you, the other one reaching up to sort of catch it against him and palm it with both of his hands, sort of giving weight to the girthy book. He looks it over and looks back up to you. We will call you when it is necessary. You and your vanguard. That mark on your hand. It does not bleed, but it will remain. But when the blood begins to flow, and the pain becomes nearly unbearable, you will know you are being summoned. And search under moonlight, and you will find it. Or at least the path that leads.
Good, I would not want you to hold me responsible if I were to simply get lost. Glad to know I will be able to find where I'm being beckoned. Now,
If you
go.
find yourself lost,
Go!
we will certainly find you. As he looks over the book, almost like you can see that carved scar across his face, almost bends into an even eerily more wide smile. Suppose that's one more secret for you, my lord. He looks over to the group and you can see his mouth move, but you hear no sound come from within. And then as he does, he turns and Finley walks back around the rock. You can hear the soft sounds of his crackling. Sounds like claws moving across the ground, but once he rounds the other side, you don't see him anymore. And then pulling back into the bushes within the shrubbery, the glinting eyes of beasts hidden in the darkness vanish. And all you're left with are, I guess, the feeling of loss.
Fuck. I just wait, for Luna to return.
Okay. Getting close. How long are you gonna be? Probably most of the night, I'm assuming, Luna. If you're listening, if you're doing it on a watch, probably about 4 hours or so at most.
Yeah, I still need to get my 6 hours of sleep, so I'd be like every. How long could I be in there?
basically
Because it takes
until.
an hour to get in there.
So probably
And it
not a
takes an
super
hour
long
to
time unless you're taking multiple watches to do so. But yeah, basically, it doesn't take super long to get back, but effectively, you want to make sure you're back in time before light would hit you, or at least where you were. But yeah, maybe after some time, an hour, maybe a bit more. If you push it a little bit, you eventually seem to just reappear back in the prime where you once were.
I'll head back over to the group.
You just see Samantha just sort of staring at the fire, and like her various serpents on her head sort of like looking at her and then like at each other, and just kind of some of them watching around the camp, but most of them, they seem to have this sort of concerned air about them.
Samantha doesn't really respond to me coming back. I will move around her side and just my hand in front of her face, just start snapping my fingers to get her.
Luna, I have made a mistake.
Are you gonna tell me what the mistake was?
Yes, I have to tell someone. It must best be you. There was that tome of Eric's, the really heavy and ominous looking one. And, well, I could not keep my curiosity at bay, going so far to make a deal with, that wolf. The servants of Malar. It was what they wanted, and I made a deal so that I could try to extract a secret from it for myself. As I just show this sort of mark on my hand.
Did you get said secret?
No. Whatever it was that was in that book seemed to be reading more of me than I was of it.
Orica always said that if you look too long in the abyss, it'll just look back into you. So, as long as the deal wasn't terrible, what was the deal?
At some point, I do not know when, if those secret keepers encounter something like Eric, something they can't quite handle, but we can, they can call on us.
Then it kind of squints a little bit. Us?
I may have spoken for everyone, volunteering the valiant vanguard, those that, well, would attribute themselves as being a part of it. If it comes that everyone leaves me because of this, then I guess the valiant vanguard is myself.
As long as they're not asking us to murder any children, I don't really care. Quill might have an issue with that. But, I don't know. Stephanie might be a little bit peeved, but we don't really care about that, so. It should be fine. I'm good to head to bed, though. No more making deals without telling us, though.
No,
Dad.
you're not my mom.
Whatever,
Can't tell
whatever.
what to
I
do.
do what I want.
I'll tell you.
That works. guess I head to bed.
Okay. And with that, third night of travel goes on without any more interruptions. The party wakes up, assumingly unaware of anything that transpired that night, as the rest of your travel gonna go on unabated unless there's anything else you guys want to do on the road. Any other talks you guys want to have? Any cornering?
Oh yeah, I still got a corner Persephone.
Oh, you
Okay.
still need to do that.
Yeah.
I don't have a book anymore, so I'm just free walking, I guess.
Well, since we're halfway to Crossway by this point, Persephone is going to send another bird. Realizing the first time she did, she was a little too far. This next one should make it all the way, right? Yeah. Where am I going? I
To
think it'll be
Oakwell.
fine.
Going home.
I didn't have it all the way to Oakwell. Okay.
400 miles.
What
Sends
was the
the bird to
cutoff?
Lindale.
I think 400 was
400.
the cutoff.
Is it 400 or 300?
I thought it was 350.
Oh,
Yeah, I
fuck,
remember
need to get
350.
I need to get closer. All right, well then she'll hold off. Maybe when we're in Crossway.
God, even Crossway is too far.
Can't
Yeah.
even crossway.
Are you
Still not
kidding?
close enough.
Long distances.
Okay, so that'll have to wait until we're close enough that she'll get the burb.
Mm-hmm.
So am I getting cornered?
It's like 10 feet too short. It's flying up like, I got a message for you!
No, the bird.
Why are there so many birds like 10 miles from town?
Birds die right
The
in front
beeline
of
of
us.
dead
175th. What the hell?
No, they just don't deliver a message.
Yeah, they just stop and go like, no,
I
I,
like-
gotta say something. Okay, fly 400. But yeah.
And I still need to talk to Samantha before we get into Crossway.
Along the road, you find a strangely placed corner. Persephone, you are in that corner. Quill is standing in front of you.
He cornered me against the tree.
He
It's
taps
corner.
his hand on the tree above your
No!
head.
No! No!
Okay.
Cabedon.
Can I help you, Quill?
Are you alright?
Persephone like stops and she kind of stares almost at like nothing.
Define all right. There's
I
a
mean,
lot.
exactly.
Well, the adventuring's going really well, I think. And ultimately, I'm doing really great when I don't think about everything I'm missing back home. But yeah, otherwise, I'm fine. What do you really want to ask me, Quill?
I know elven parents are unique. I know that they show love in their own ways. And oftentimes it's not the ways that their children need. It's the ways they think is correct. I truly believe this is one of the things that led to the rebellion.
Huh.
If you ever need to talk, vent, or even just shout, I'm here.
So you were talking, Quill, mentioning elven parents. You notice that Persephone started to just rub on her bracelet, just twisting it back and forth. But when you say those last words, her hand stops and she looks up at you.
Thanks. That means a lot. I'll remember that. Same for you too. Honestly, when I heard Ava asking Jody to give a job to an elf from Tyrion, I was really nervous because, well, you know, the rebellion is kind of really awkward, and also I'm nobility, and I knew that if that was going to come up, that was going to be especially awkward. And since I found out that you were not only from Tyrion, but a knight that fought in the rebellion, things got a little worse for me.
Is
So,
it because of your aunt?
yeah. Mostly because of my aunt. There's a reason we don't talk about her anymore. And that single reason is literally the entire rebellion.
Can I be honest with you?
Sure. Always.
If it wasn't her, it would have been somebody else.
No.
And in the end, Persephone, she actually saved a lot of lives. A long, drawn-out war across this land of Mobia would have ended poorly not only for Illyria and Tyrion, but for places like Oakwell, Crossway, Garen's Well.
I suppose you're right about that. I just wish it wasn't her. If it wasn't her, things would be much different.
But then,
Much different.
I wouldn't have you as a friend.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I'd probably be a stuffy noble somewhere else.
And I doubt you would be able to wear your flower crowns.
Oh. Maybe.
I like the new assortment.
Thanks. My mother used to make these flower crowns back home. Something started by her family. It was to remind us that change was as natural in ourselves as it was in nature. And so anytime anybody went through a big change, they would gather to celebrate by making flower crowns for each other. To help with the transition.
You've definitely made many flower crowns.
Oh, thanks for talking to me, Cole. You're a really good friend. I'm glad to know you.
Fair enough. I'm good.
Will,
What?
in your short time with the Valiant Vanguard, you've sort of found yourself a role in this group. It was maybe hard to compete against Gregory with his massive sword to be the one cutting down your enemies. You're not quite the strongest powerhouse behind the blade, but you do know how to chop through your foes if they ever stand between you and your allies. So you found yourself a place between them. Whenever your allies are in danger, your instincts almost drive you to protect them, whether it's a danger of a vampire scrawling down a wall and you getting in the way with your blade at the ready, or simply in this moment where you noticed your ally was in a vulnerable position, realizing having revealed something about herself and being there to comfort her. You have a guardian's instinct, Will, and you know how to act on it at the most dire moment if needed, as you unlock a boon. In a pinch, you can trust your instincts to carry you to the front lines, giving you time to move between your charge and the danger ahead. When you roll initiative, as long as you're not incapacitated, you can choose to add your proficiency to proficiency bonus to the roll. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. You regain the expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Oh!
Allowing you to
makes
pick
sport of
yourself up
initiative.
and move yourself a little quicker in battle whenever you find that danger's approaching, and oftentimes maybe a bit cumbersome in your armor, hard to get there. Now you can act upon your instincts, that feeling to put yourself in the way of danger.
Look at that, I go super fast.
Mm-hmm.
Take alert on top of it. Never fail.
Oh god.
32 to initiative.
Right. If there's anything else you guys want to do, heartfelt talk,
Yes.
anything else?
During one of our watches, Persephone is gonna go over to Samantha now that she's not being bothered by a book, and she's just gonna just quietly sit in front of her.
I've been meaning to ask this for a couple days now. Why did you leave me there? With the women that you knew they couldn't be saved. And you just walked away for me to handle it? how was I supposed to tell Gregory that? I mean, he was already having hard enough time as it were. You're the one that handles those hard situations.
You see, like, one of her snakes sort of look over at you. She's just sort of staring off. I trusted you.
Okay, well, if we're being perfectly frank, if Quill wasn't there to offer his blade, I don't know what I would have done. So, I'm not sure that was really a good judgment call on your part.
So, you're telling me I can't trust you to handle these hard situations? To be there for your friends in this group?
No, I just never... I've never had to do anything like that before. I mean, there was no warning, no conversation. It was just... It just had to get done.
I've found that people sometimes perform the best in those sorts of situations when they're given no choice, no options. They're just pushed out of the nest. You either fly or you die.
I don't think I did either. I think I mostly fumbled about. Honestly, they were just... I don't think I did enough for them. I mean, they were scared and confused, and they wanted answers, and I didn't want to lie to them. I don't ever want to lie, but I couldn't tell them the truth because that would make it worse. And I guess maybe next time, if there is a next time, I could help calm them down, use my magic, make them feel like they were safe. I've seen what's happened to those who die in fear. I read some bits of it on Stroma in the Great Hall of Pelkoa, and I read it in the journal of one of the elves from the Lost Academy. If I can help it, I don't want to let anybody have to die in that same way again. And that maybe I'm just more upset that I didn't have time to really think about that.
See. You see a few more of her snakes sort of look at you. You know... You know why I trusted you?
No. Honestly, most of the people in this group seem to just leave me be.
Most of them... I don't know, there's a predilection to view you as... somewhat of a child. Your stature and happy-go-lucky demeanor and... well, voice don't really help in that respect.
I can't help my voice.
But... I don't notice everything immediately. I feel now even less so in my ability to perceive things, but I'm always watching. Multiple sets of eyes always watching every member of this group and the people we interact with, and I pay attention, Persephone. And having watched you, you're nothing if not considerate, if not contemplative, if not controlled now. You always seem to be well prepared for whatever it is we're doing. I remember you had the doctor's notes before we even met him. I guess in your forethought you'd reached out to him on your own. I mean, you were growing Liscus a month or so before we ever left to deal with Stroma. And these days, these last few weeks or months even, you haven't had these sort of outbursts and scatterbrainedness that I recall from when I first met you. Sure, you still talk quickly when you're feeling overwhelmed, and that's just part of who you are, but what it is you're saying now is much more organized. You say things quickly, but you say them with purpose. You're no longer this naive little field mouse. You've wizened with your experiences. You handle things like an adult. I was pleasantly surprised when you didn't wake up the entire party when you walked into Luna's dream or you had those visions of Marjorie. You just wanted to handle things, take down notes, and discuss them calmly. The Persephone I used to know from when we were dealing with, say, the Black Furies or... well, she would have woken up everyone in a panic. She would have been screaming her head off and freaking out. But now you are calm. You're patient. You're much more mature than when I first met you. And a lot more sure of yourself. I mean, this is going to sound a bit weird, but even the way that you move has changed. You sort of bounced into a room like a ball when I first met you, and no one could really be certain of which way you would go or what you were going to do next. And now you have a bit of grace to your step, a flow that's much more sure of yourself. You've grown confident in your time with the Valiant Vanguard. I see that. I see the way that you've risen from a naive little noble girl from some elf town into... And she just sort of looks at you, finally directly with her own eyes. A proper young woman. And anyone else who doesn't see it hasn't been paying attention.
See tears welling up in Persephone's eyes as they start to roll down her cheeks, and she just leans forward and gives you a tight hug.
Thank you, Samantha.
You feel like this momentary, like, statueness, like she sort of just, like, tightens up all throughout her body, and then she just sort of returns the hug and pulls you in close. That's why I trusted you to take care of those things. That's why I will continue to trust you to take care of those things. To be considerate when I have no predilection to be so. To be contemplative when I have things I'd rather bring my attention towards. Of course, there are going to be things, as she sort of pulls away from the hug and looks down at you, all of her snakes looking at you. There are going to be things that I want to handle myself, like speaking to the mayor and what have you, but there are going to be moments where I may trust you to do those things, or I may ask for you to come along. Your insight into the tics of people and, well, a valuable asset to have alongside, and a good friend. I need to return that dinner you bought me, actually, at some point, so perhaps we can go somewhere nice and Crossway and share a meal or something of the sort. I have plans for the future. Plans for the Valiant Vanguard, Persephone, and I want you to be a big part of them.
Well, I would be honored to stay with the Vanguard. And I will have to take you up on that dinner. Maybe somewhere nice, somewhere private. And that way we can talk about what it is you know about my aunt.
Don't be so hasty, little one.
Oh. I'm going to go to bed.
Samantha
Again.
turns away and pulls out another book.
Damn, bitch,
Pulls
you
out
got
the
so
book.
many books.
Yeah. Both of you give yourself some Demon Inspiration.
I already have it.
Roll yourself a D100.
Hey!
That's Persephone. You unlock another boob.
Your voice suddenly gets deeper. You've reached elvish puberty finally.
Sup, bitches, I'm
Brother!
Persephone.
I'm Persephone now.
Motherfuckers.
What?
Alright. That night goes by, the 4th night, going on the 5th day of travel. Anything else you guys want to do as you guys are nearing, looks like the town of city of Crossway? Anything? Going once, going twice? Moving on?
Sold!
As we approach Crossway, as we start to see it in the horizon,
Mm-hmm.
tickling feeling, back of my neck starts to rise up. The walls get larger and larger. Start to loom more and more. As Crossway's always sort of been something in Gregory's life. It's always been the place that he went to once or twice, somewhat like Broken Ridge, where he knew he didn't really belong. He was there for a task, but since he walked through those gates, he was always lost. It wasn't Oakwell. It wasn't where his family was. It was always a strange place that was always far too large for him. There were always way too many people, way too much things going on. He never really enjoyed his time there. And as we get up to the gates, Craig just stops in his tracks. Yo. I'm sorry. I've been thinking about this. He just looks up at the gates of this massive, sprawling city. I don't think I can go further than this.
What do you mean?
Javen said, what everyone's doing, Samantha, I'm sorry, I wasn't what you needed. I wanted to help, but I don't know how, and I don't know if I'll ever know. If I walk through these gates, I feel like they're gonna swallow me up. I don't think they'll ever let me out again. I don't know if I can keep doing this. Garen's well, I wasn't myself. I couldn't even tell what the hell I was. I forgot why I was doing all this. I hate the anchor that's inside of me. I hate it. I thought I could use it, do good, but every time it took over, I just ended up hurting someone, deserving it or not. I can't keep doing this. I'm sorry, y'all. I ain't walking through those gates as I pulled the ring off my finger.
So I'm just gonna get off my horse, walk right up to Gregory. I'm just gonna grab him. You've done well. I appreciate everything you've done for me. You are true. brother in arms. And if you ever need anything, all you have to do is ask. You have served the people of Mobia well. And you will always be a hero in my eyes, Gregory Timberson. I'm just gonna hug him.
Thank you, Quill.
Yourself some deep inspiration, Mr. Quill.
Yeah. As I wrap my arm around Gregory, it looks like this is the end of the line for both of us then. Welcome to the Old Man Club.
Hell. So I just look up past Quill and Javen, the rest of the party. Lone, I'm sorry I can't see the end of this, but I made a mess of it. If I end up doing something makes it you can't find your pants, I would hate myself. I can't be that thing again. I can't be the one. I can't hurt y'all. And everything I think of to do just leads to hurting y'all. But if you find somebody that can really stand with you, can be one of y'all, ain't the one being left behind. I'm sorry.
I mean, you're still heading to Oakville, right?
I'm going home.
Where were the
I
dwarves
need
with
to
the
go.
adamantine poisoning?
They're in the northern part of Crossway.
Okay.
Persephone's gonna hop off her horse and run to Gregory and give him a big hug.
I'm gonna miss you. I hope you find your own path to happiness back home.
Thank you, Purse. You take this. I'm sure the members of the Valiant Vanguard, they gonna need them. So hold out the ring.
Sure. Good boy. Take off my
Persephone.
ring too.
Persephone holds out her hands for the rings.
Yeah. But you're still gonna have to visit us at the Fallen Horse. You have to.
I don't expect to be leaving Oakwell for a long time. As long as I can afford. Purse,
Hey, maybe you can be a man of the cloth like Quill. Really double down into Avandra.
yeah. Maybe. Purse, I'm doing nothing but apologizing. Damn.
It's what you do best.
Did I say Quill? I meant Clyde.
We got you.
Yeah.
I know I haven't treated you kindly. I understand that. I hope you know it's just when I see you out here, I can't help but seeing Nina, Joey, Sam following my damn footsteps. It's foolishness. Out here too damn young, getting mixed up in things that. Hell, Purse, you've seen what we've seen. It's insanity. And I know I should have had more faith in you. You said you'd rather be in front of that hammer. And I don't know. I'm sorry I didn't have more faith in your Purse.
It's okay, Gregory. You're like a big brother to me. It's only normal for you to be protective. I don't blame you.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm gonna get to getting. I know you'll do great things. Sure, I'll heal stories of a Vanguard. Just, I don't know. Samantha always have, something sweet waiting for you. Waking up well. I'll put down the soul for a bit.
Gregory. Samantha just sort of just has her hood up over her hair, over her snakes, and just seems to be looking down at the ground away from you up at the city. And she just walks over to you without really looking up or trying to, like, look at anyone. Just moves people out of the way. I didn't want to believe what it was I was seeing. The cracks. You're getting worn down by all this insanity. I'm sorry that you've been through too much. I feel like a lot of it at, in some way, my behest. I just want to say thank you for being there so long ago. When I came stumbling into town half dead. Thank you for saving me then and every other time you saved me. When I've gotten myself into foolishness. You know, I don't like losing things, and I feel like I'm losing you. I feel like I'm going to be going all over the place, and you're going to be back at Oakwell, and I know we've had our differences. I know that my opinions and yours have never really aligned, but you were always there in spite of that. I could always count on you. I could always reach out to you. And you'd answer. And after losing so much just to get to Oakwell, it was great having someone, again.
I'm sure you'll find others, Samantha. You share with me your story. The secret I didn't deserve. And I love those stories. I thought that I could be something like that, you know? Hero. But I'm just a man. After all.
Samantha just looks up at you, all of her hair just sort of tucked away into the back of her cloak. It's just her eyes, and they're yellow, and her face just seems to have tears streaming down it. You are a hero to me, Timbison. You always will be.
Thank you.
Sort of seems to give a crack to her neck in the way that she always does, and she seems to sort of pull herself together and stands tall and takes her cloak off her head. Now, I am going to need you to get even better at cooking, if all you're going to be doing is sitting around at home.
Yeah. I guess that's the plan then. Yeah. Well, when y'all finally do come home, well, you're home away from home, I'll be there. The warm hearth, some good to eat. Make sure of that. Thank y'all. Ain't gonna say it's been easy, but it was a hell of a thing. Goodbye, Valiant Vanguard. Let me hear your stories one day. As I'm gonna turn, pull myself up onto the horse, and just sort of give a look to each person one by one. Hell. I turn the horse around. Start head west.
See
There
Gregory
goes
wandering off to
bravest
the
man I've ever met.
west. Rounding around the large walls of Crossway, where you can see it looks like buildings spilling over these great steeps built into this massive hill that the city was founded on. Instead, as the sun, getting later in the day, sort of casts that light over, it shines quite brilliantly on his half-plate armor. And yeah, for a moment, he maybe as he gets farther into the distance and the details become more blurred, he doesn't quite look like the same homely Gregory that you've all come to know. He looks a bit more knightly. His sword's turned across his back, his horse now more bright and vibrant and full of life than before. Eventually, Gregory fades from your vision. And you guys have like maybe a few more 100 feet till you get to the gates of Crossway. And then I guess Luna would be the first one to see it. Your eyes cast off in the direction of Gregory, some of you preparing your things to enter this massive city, hopefully with, Luna and Javen leading the way, both of them having a bit more ability to maneuver such a large metropolis and find where you need to go. When something starts to loom across the ground, and as you look back to your group, Luna, you can see something just sort of swimming across the plain. There's no real shape to it, except it's more an oblong blob of darkness on the ground that you're quite familiar with, given your nature. It's a shadow. It's large, and it's quiet, until it starts getting closer, moving at an incredible pace until it starts to sweep under your group, and you can hear it then above. And your eyes draw up towards the sky above you as this massive shape comes flying through the air over the wall of Crossway and begins to descend itself down. At first glance, it is a terrifying sight. It almost stops your heart, and when the others of the Valiant Vanguard realize what they're looking at, it's terrifying. It's a massive blue gleaming shape with a pair of these rising and falling wings, carrying itself through the air. It looks like a dragon.
Oh my
but
god.
as it nears the ground, closer, far from the heights of the sky and down towards the top of these high peaking buildings of Crossway, you realize that what you're looking at only looks like a dragon. It looks almost like, with your discerning eye, a large bow of a ship of this very ornate looking wood that's been cast in, looks like some sort of either blue metal or perhaps blue glass. And above it is this large bulbous shape, almost three of them, like these cylinders held above, connected by these rods and strange apparatuses. And on either side of these apparatuses are these large looming wings. If you had to really give it a name, I suppose, the closest thing you could say, it's a ship that's carrying itself through the air, heading down from the northern side of Mobia. As our valiant vanguard will end this session with a glimpse of the future. A sight to behold not ever before seen in the world of Hearth. Something one could only call revolutionary. As next time we will join the valiant vanguard, time will have passed. Events will have transpired. As it seems like the group has a bit more traveling and some events to occur, they will return back in the town of Oakwell after some considerable time has passed, events of which we shall cover outside of the session for expediency's sake.
Ooh, downtime.
Oh boy.
Downtime indeed.
This
Oh,
doesn't sound like real initiative.
Where's my boon?
That was my boon, Omen. Where's my Javen boon?
Where's my
Jesus.
walk away from explosions boon?
Yeah. Where's
I
my
agree.
I'm leaving the party?
You get the retirement boon.
I did blow up the party as I walked away.
It's my boon. I get to play my next character.
Yeah, because you can look at explosions.
Everybody's giving me hugs. I was planting C4 on their back.
Oh boy.
Let's Gregory last one more time.
where were you?
Avandra.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. Whew-wee. That was fun. I hope you all enjoyed hanging out with us tonight for Song of Rapture right here on Lionhead Gaming. We will be returning possibly at the absolute earliest, if everyone is around, December 26th, but things look maybe kind of dicey. I'm going to look towards our two most likely to maybe perhaps not be here, Monsieur Peter and Monsieur John. Are you going to be available the day after Christmas to roll dice and kill monsters and all that good stuff? Or
Fight an airship.
Is
Don't
Omen
fight
down?
a new character.
I'm down.
I mean, I can make it work.
Mm.
Ooh.
I'm so excited to play as an airship, you guys. Awakened airship.
Oh no.
Yes, I am okay for the 26th because I'm heading back on the 27th, the day after.
So you're here.
Yeah, I'm here.
so you can be here from somewhere
I
else.
can be here. Yeah. Because I bring my computer. I'm only going to my aunt's house. She has Wi-Fi, I hope.
There you go.
All right.
In the last couple of Christmas I went there, she had Wi-Fi, so I still hope that tradition upholds itself.
Alrighty then, so we will be off next week. No game on the 19th, but we should be returning December 26th, 2019. Stay tuned on Twitter and also on the Twitch feed if there's any changes to the schedule, or you can also join the Discord. We'll get updates towards any absences or cancelizations there as well. So be sure to join or follow in the respective places for those sort of changes, along with discussions about role-playing games and D&D and sharing things I find interesting and all that good stuff on Twitter. So be sure to follow there. And yeah, we should be returning for Kingdoms of the South on the 17th, this upcoming Tuesday, as the Apex Alliance faces off against this strange, fiendish-looking fire demon beast thing, and hopefully aren't burned to cinders. Hopefully they can defeat it and take whatever else remains in the Warren of the Druids for themselves before they march off to war against a very powerful foe. So be sure to tune in next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, for more Kingdoms of the South, and we will not be coming back Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve for either one of those Tuesdays. So that'll be the last game of Kingdoms of the South for this year, and then we should be returning right back on time on the 7th. So without further ado, we're gonna go with somebody playing some D&D or something similar, and as always, may your dice roll 20s, and you always make your saves.
Let y'all.
Toodles.
Videos